Welcome back to Free Speech Nation. With the Olympics just around the corner, attention is now turning to our athletes as they gear up for a summer of sport. Team GB's women's rugby team, though, have already been forced into the spotlight following a new campaign involving lingerie. Players ditch their usual rugby kits in favour of underwear to take part in Bluebella's Strong is Beautiful campaign, an initiative aiming to encourage young girls to play sports. But the move has been criticised heavily on social media, with many saying that the male gaze has been placed front and centre. With me now to debate this in the studio is broadcaster and TV personality Precious Muir and the Director of Campaigns at Sex Matters, Fiona McKenna. Precious, do you think this is empowering?
I do. I think it's a wonderful thing. I mean, women are constantly being ridiculed in society and we need to be uplifting them. And them embracing a campaign like this as athletes is inspiring young girls to want to participate in sport. Because being nude isn't a scary thing. Like, we shouldn't be scared to have women in lingerie because we're constantly seeing footballers taking their shirts off, walking around and doing campaigns for boxer briefs and shorts all the time. I mean, if you watch a football game, how many times do you see a footballer take his shirt off and run around celebrating his score? I mean, it's not a big deal to me. I think it's a very good thing for women to do.
Fair enough. Now, Fiona, do you think that context is important here? Why do you think this is sexist?
Well, I think there's nothing empowering about stripping off for other people. It's a free choice. They're free to do it. The problem we've got here is that the advertiser, the brand, has said that this is about attracting girls into sport. What we know is that the reason lots of girls drop out of sport is because they feel self-conscious, they feel they don't want to be looked at, they're worried about how they're going to look. And I'm sure this campaign started with good intentions, but they've fallen into the trap of just reinforcing the same old, which is to say to girls, what is important is how you look. And then they're trying to say, and you'll still look good if you play rugby. But it would be so much more empowering and it would be more successful in getting girls into sport if they would say, come and play rugby because you will feel great, you will have teamwork, you have these women in that ad campaign, they have skills, they have resilience, they have fitness, so but they're just being celebrated for nakedness.
So a woman should not be able to take, I take very good, in my appearance, for me to look good is important. And for me to inspire other women to do that, it's a good thing, it's a positive thing. I don't think you having a talent takes away from wearing lingerie. Wearing lingerie is like everybody in this room. I'm assuming everyone's wearing lingerie today.
I am.
So, you know, everybody wears it. At the end of the day, it's just inspiring others to do nice things. I mean, these women, if they were heavier, they'll be ridiculed. If they were slimmer, women just can't catch a break. We're constantly being criticised.
Yeah, absolutely right, Precious.
We need to be supporting these people because they're brave enough to go out there and do a campaign like this, and nobody else would. I mean, at the end of the day, they have stripped down into these wonderful, sexy lingerie items. I don't see a problem with it. They look great. I mean,
so the problem is that this brand is claiming that this is some kind of higher social purpose, that it's going to get girls into sport. If they were just advertising lingerie, that's up to them, and it's up to you how you dress and how much you wear or how little. The problem we've got here is that they're telling girls that in order to do sport, they have to worry about how they look. And that's the problem. That's the problem we already have. One of the women in this campaign said that before she played rugby, she had an eating disorder and she had body image issues. Now, the solution to body image issues is not to tell girls that they need to look good in lingerie. So the solution is to let them play sports.
Would you say this to a male football player who is doing a lingerie ad for a very well-known...
Have you ever seen a male football player training in his underwear?
I've seen him taking his top off and he's got
That's how these women were photographed.
He's got his abs out and he's doing
and that's fine.
And everyone's going, wow, look at that guy.
And you and I both know...
No one ever said, how dare he have his top off, and
you and I both know
show those abs, you know?
You and I both know that he is free to do that because the rest of the time he is celebrated for his achievements. And how often do we see Team GB women in sport being celebrated for their achievements? It's such a shame that this campaign has got them out there in their lingerie, just like all the other women in lingerie ads. And it's not doing anything for girls. It's the same old sexist stuff saying how you look is what matters. And I think it's a shame for girls. It will not encourage them back into sport.
We do bring awareness to women and encourage them to have a body positive outlook. Being naked doesn't mean that you're having a negative connotation on what you look like. It's just saying be body positive.
It's saying show off your body. Why can't they do that in their rugby kit? If they're really being celebrated, for sport.
Lingerie.
But they say it's about getting women into sport, and that's the problem.
It seems like the problem here is that this is really just they're trying to sell a product, lingerie, and they're doing it on the back of this, let's get young girls, encourage them into sport. Now, if it didn't have that element, you're saying that you wouldn't have a problem with it. If it was just an advert and they used these rugby women to show different body types and that they are beautiful, then that's okay. Do you think would that make a difference to you at all? If the campaign, the more moral campaign of helping young women, encouraging
I think the message is very clear. It is doing that because young women don't have a very positive body. They just look at themselves and they're constantly ridiculed about what's going on because of society and the way people treat women. We uplift everybody else. We don't uplift women. And this is a campaign showing women of all shapes and sizes and colours, and they're embracing their bodies in lingerie. I don't see anything negative in this campaign.
So I agree with most of what you say, Precious, but why can't we uplift women with their clothes on? Wouldn't that be a welcome change?
We can do both. Skin is not the devil. Like, we can wear...
But we're objectifying these girls. The whole problem is girls are objectified.
Because the campaign, footballers, Premiership League, they go out and do this stuff all the time for big brands, and nobody says a word to them. They're embracing them and they think it's amazing. They're on covers and everything. When a woman does it, it's criticised. It's not right.
And that's because of the inherent sexism, that the starting point of this ad campaign is to say you have to look good. That's the problem. They should be saying you have to have skill, you can be fit, you can be part of a team.
And they wouldn't sell lingerie.
But you see, if they weren't pretending to be doing some kind of social good, it wouldn't be a problem. It would just be any other lingerie ad. It's disingenuous to say to girls, this is how you can look if you do sport, and they're reinforcing the issues around body image, which are the very reason girls are dropping out of sport in the first place.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. I mean, Precious, do you think this has distracted the conversation with, GB's hopes at the Olympics?
No, I think it's creating a conversation and for people to actually have a discussion and for GB to actually be seen in the Olympics, and it's bringing awareness in all. I think it's a positive thing. The press is talking about it, and that's always good. So, yeah.
Well, I remember the volleyball team, women's beach volleyball team, that got fined for wearing clothing that was too skimpy, and the men were wearing much more substantial clothing. So if that's not objectification, I don't know what is, and that is not how women in sport want to be seen.
Well, this is the word, objectification, and I guess then it comes down to who is lingerie for. The argument might be that lingerie is for women to feel empowered and good about their bodies, positive about their bodies. The other argument would be it's for the male gaze.
Yeah, but also they're not wearing the lingerie
Not the male gaze. Pointing to the game.
I just want to be very clear. They're not wearing the lingerie at the games. This is a campaign.
Oh, I'm not going to watch it.
This is a campaign. Let's just make sure that we're all clear on that. I mean, they might wear it underneath their kit, but, they're not wearing it at the games. It's a campaign to bring awareness. It encourages young girls to have body positivity. I think it's a really good idea to do it because, athletes are always complaining as females they're not getting these campaigns, and now they have. So what are we doing here? Well, they can't win.
It feels like there's mixed messages in terms of we're talking about also the sexualization of young girls.
But that's how you perceive lingerie. I don't think it's a sexual thing. It depends on how you wear it and where you're wearing it. When I looked at the campaign, I didn't see sex. I just saw very happy women in really nice lingerie. I didn't see, it wasn't a sexual, they weren't on a bed or they weren't with, having a glass of wine. They were on the pitch.
Yeah, but then it comes down to the opposite of context.
It's how you perceive it.
I think having semi-naked sportswomen on the pitch when they would never set foot on that pitch dressed like that is pretty sexist, and it's pretty much saying to them, looking feminine, looking beautiful is your goal, even when you're a Team GB rugby player. And I think that's a really negative message. What they should be saying is, enjoy sport. Don't worry about how you look. Fine, wear your lingerie.
And the fact that they're women and they're happy.
But women don't have to wear lingerie.
But we're losing the fact that we're not encouraging women to be women and to be proud.
But we're losing the fact.
And so that's what it is.
I can say that we've definitely come to an understanding here. Now, if you're interested in seeing me playing rugby in lingerie, please follow me on Twitter.